Hi everyone, it's Sheree here from Spice Fitness, and I just want to talk to you today about what holds you back. What holds you back from achieving whatever in your life? Because our heads play around with us and mess around with us all the time. And you know, the thing is that the mood that you're in when you make the commitment to do something is not the way that you feel when you actually have to carry out that commitment. For example, why is it at New Year's that we make that commitment? We want to get fit and healthy in this next year, and we're ready to go. We're so excited. We've made that decision to carry on through. And then we come to that place when it's time to actually carry out that commitment that we've made, and we actually don't do it. That's because we're going by feelings. At the time, we felt great, we felt empowered, we felt like we could do it. And then we come to that place where we need to actually do it, and we don't feel that same way. There's always an excuse. I'm too tired right now. I'll start next week. How often do I hear, I'll start next week? Do you know that some women I know have seen our sign outside our gym for women's strength training and looked at it and thought, that's something I want to do. And then I actually see them about 3 or 4 years down the track when something has gone wrong with their body and they decide that, oh gosh, I've really got to do something about it now. But what has changed? Well, it's like, I'll start tomorrow. I'm just too tired right now. Oh, there's a lot going on in my life, so I just can't find the time, or I need to get fitter before I go into that gym. But the fact is that we go too often by how we feel rather than just making a commitment to do something. So Mel Robbins is a lady that's a bit of a motivational coach, and she was just stating in one of her TED Talks, there's one fact in life, and we all do it and we all feel it. The fact is that you will never ever feel like doing something if it's something that's going to be a little bit hard. You'll never feel like doing it. I remember at one stage that my tax returns, every year I vowed and declared I'd do it. I ended up with 4 years worth that I need to do. And I just got really concerned at that point, thinking I've just got to do it. And do you know what? I didn't go by feelings then. I just made a point when I got a warning from the tax department that I had to do them. So it was not going by feelings. If we go by feelings, we will never do that thing that we said we were going to do. So we always wait until we feel like it, but we will never feel like it. So we function most of our life in familiar territory. So, and that means that if there's something new, then we tend to halt. We put a halt to it, we tend to stop, and we go, I'm out of my comfort zone right now. I don't think I can actually do this thing right now. But I'm sure if I give myself some more time, I'll actually feel like doing it maybe in another month or two, but I'm just not going to do it right now. Again, we're going by feelings. Those feelings actually then determine if we go ahead with the plan we're going to do or if we hold back. And believe me, some people I think get to the end of their lives, the very end of their lives, and they still haven't done that thing that they really wanted to do 30 or 40 years ago because they just didn't feel like it at the time. So year upon year goes by, and before you know it, you're in your 80s or 90s and you still haven't done it. I hope that there's someone out there that's not going to do that. I hope you're going to act on what you want to do. Please tell me, if you're on a Facebook Live with me right now, tell me, do you ever feel like that you do that you wait and wait and wait and don't actually act on that thing that you really want to do? So there's going to be a break in your routine. You're going to need to push through it. So in other words, give yourself, push through the fear, push through the excuses, push through the fact that you don't feel like it now, and just go ahead and do it. Small daily habits end up to a whole lifestyle change. So what I'd love you to start doing today, if there's something that you want to do, start to make small moves towards that bigger goal that you've got, and just start to do it. Don't go out by feelings, because those feelings will never come into the place where you actually feel like, now I'm ready. Sometimes some of you will actually be made to do it because your body, for example, with somebody that's strength training, I'm just going by that because I'm a strength trainer, will get to that point where their body's not working for them anymore. Maybe you've gone on the plane to fly somewhere and you can't lift your overnight bag to put in the overhead locker, and you're kind of thinking, where did I get to that point? So that may make you make a decision to do something. But if you're always going by feelings, you won't get there. So we need to get out of our head. We speak very negatively to ourselves sometimes, and sometimes we're actually quite mean to ourselves, and we wouldn't treat our friends that way. So have a think about telling yourself how awesome you are, how wonderful you are, and how you actually can do it. And even if you make just one small move today that's going to where you want to be, that is a step in the right direction. And we'll talk a little more about that soon, because there's some really great little steps that you can take to get you to where you want to be. So go past your feelings. Feelings will always find a reason to hold you back. And you can always find a reason not to do something, and you can convince yourself that you'll never feel like it. So we can always make reasons. I don't have enough time. I need to get fit. I couldn't believe it. A few people have told me that they felt like they needed to get fit before they came to see me because they didn't want to seem too unfit. And that's not what it's about. It's about taking somebody exactly where they're at and then working with them, working with their body to make them be the best that they can be. So you have a great idea, but if you don't act on that idea, it will never happen. So women are notoriously not bad, but they will put everyone else before themselves. So how many women, 40s, 50s, have maybe aging parents? They've still got kids at school that rely on them. Maybe they are still the main kind of homemaker, and they work as well. So there's lots of excuses there, but even then, if something's really important to you, there's always a way to kind of find that time in a day, even if it's only 10 minutes. And I'm telling you that because some people do not have much time, but even if it's only 10 minutes and you want to get stronger and fitter, you can take 10 minutes out of your day and put it in towards yourself. So you're actually focusing on yourself for a change. Now, there's a lot of fears out there. We have so many fears inside our head, and they go around with thousands of thoughts per day that we let just come into our head and take over our mind. But we need to take control of those and actually start speaking to ourselves and start to take control of what goes in and surrounds us all the time and coming from our heads. So those thoughts, we want to take them captive and go, no, you're not speaking to me in that way. You're telling me I can't do this and that I'm already a failure, so why bother? Well, I want you to start to take captive those thoughts and start saying to yourself, I can do this. I can find 10 minutes of my day and I can get myself stronger and fitter. I can do this. I'm a powerhouse. I'm awesome. Don't always make everything else and everyone else a priority until you get to that point where you're sick or you can't move well or something's going badly wrong with your body. So we're going to have fear of failure. So some ladies will get a little fitter before they come because they're afraid they'll come into the gym and be seen to not be able to do things. But remembering that we all have to start somewhere. Every single person you look at bodybuilders, they didn't start out as a bodybuilder with a buff looking body. They started out as somebody that came into the gym and started to focus on building strength and looking good. So they isolate muscles, but they didn't start that way. Somebody that can do CrossFit games or in the Olympics didn't start that way. They all had to start somewhere where you're actually focusing on making improvements all the way along till you get to that point where you are doing exceedingly well. But no one ever starts that way. So that fear of failure is something that can become bigger than Ben-Hur in some people's minds. And that is something that we need to grasp and take a hold of and go, no, this isn't going to be me. I'm not going to get to my deathbed and never having done that thing that I want to do because I felt like I was going to fail somewhere along the way. So it's always small steps add up to this massive step. So in 5 years' time, if I want to go to the next, or 4 years' time, I want to go to the next Winter Olympics and I want to do ski jumping or whatever, then it takes small steps every day to get to that point. Start with a bigger goal, work backwards, and each day take small steps to get to that bigger goal. It is achievable, well, for those that truly want to go that way. And modifications as well, when you first start, for example, getting fitter or stronger, And you may need to modify some things. So it could be that your knees are playing up and don't do so well, or your hips don't do so well. So it's a simple case of modifying things as you go. And that can be done by a good instructor. So never let that stop you as well. I know if somebody can barely walk, I will still train them because I know that I can modify most things that they can be able to achieve it. So there's a fear of judgment as well. How often do we think that we're going to come into a fitness facility and everyone's going to look at our clothing we wear and kind of go, they don't know what they're doing, look at the shape they are. But the thing is that most people are more interested in themselves. I remember taking Zumba for years, and people would be afraid to come to the front of the line, even though that's where they would see me as the instructor as far better. They would go to the back of the class, and I'd ask them at the end, why do you always go to the back of the class? And they're afraid that everyone's going to be looking at them and how they do things and how they move. Well, I can tell you right now, nobody cares less about you. They are all so focused and so busy on the moves that they're doing and that they're doing properly, that they are totally focused upon themselves and not really interested in you at all. And so you never have to be afraid of people judging you in a class. And in fact, most people, the people I know in my classes, are very compassionate towards people who are beginning because they know what they were like back then too. So if you've ever gone into a fitness facility and you felt humiliated in whatever way, shape or form, or somebody's looking down at you, or a few people have done that, you may want to try a different facility because not all facilities are the same. So how you look is a huge one as well. People have a fear of how they look, and it might be that your thighs are too big or you've got flabby arms. Well, there's some easy little tips that you can do for things like that. So obviously darker colors are going to be better than whites. I personally don't like whites. If I'm going to wear lighter colors, I'll wear intermingled with some grays, but I just don't like white because it's not, it doesn't look very good on most of us. Things like high waists, so something that comes right up over your belly button and pulls in a little bit, pulls in maybe your belly, and you can even get pants out there that lift your butt a bit. So whatever you need, go to a place that sells good quality gear because guaranteed you'll wear it again, again, again. I always have a little trick I do, so I stick a finger underneath so you can pretend that this is my pants. I like to stick a finger on here, poke it right out, and if I can see skin tones underneath my pants, I won't buy them because I know that they're too thin, and I don't want people looking through and having a look at the colour of my underpants or the pattern of my underpants underneath. So I buy things that are quite thick, and I feel comfortable in that, and that pull me in as well. And also tops that aren't too tight, I think, is an essential. If you've got tops that are too tight, you know, every time a woman puts a tight top on and we have a bra underneath, you'll get a little overhang maybe over the top of the bra and then underneath the bra. So if you've got a top that's a bit more loose, you'll feel far more comfortable in that. And that's why I like loose tops, because I also like to feel good. I'm just going to change some notes there. People also have a fear of getting out of breath. So some people feel that they're going to die. Now, I understand you probably, if you have any heart condition at all, you would need to get that checked and just cleared that you're able to do a class. But if you're just wondering that I don't like getting out of breath, then just take a stop. Most classes will allow you to have a break whenever you want. So just have that break for a moment, get back in breath again, and keep going on with it. So it's as simple as that. I've also had clients I've trained before, not too many of them, that hate to sweat. The moment they get a bead of sweat, they get really concerned. So if you don't like to sweat, now I'm not somebody that does sweat, but if it's really stinking hot and moist, I will sweat. If you're not somebody that likes to sweat, just towel yourself off. We are going to sweat if we get too hot. So the body compensates by sweating and cools us down again. So it's a compensatory thing, but if you don't like to sweat, then just keep a towel handy so you can dab away at it. Another fear is of people coming in that they're afraid that they're going to get hurt, they're going to get injured. And they may have had that experience before. And I think sometimes young people who have just done a personal training course online had come out very gung-ho and will get middle-aged, mature-aged people to do things that they wouldn't normally do, and albeit, you may be already tight in an area or have no mobility in an area, and you're getting somebody that's young, and maybe not always someone young, could be someone older, getting to do a whole pile of burpees and push-ups and things, and you could get an injury from that. So that's a fair enough concern. But that is where, if you ever get any sort of pain, there's good and bad pain. Good pain is where a day to 2 days after you've worked out, you'll get muscle soreness all over. It feels sore, but it's not a concerning sore. It's just your normal sore where you get slight little tears into your muscles. They heal over and get stronger and bigger. And so you don't need to be concerned about that sort of pain. But acute sharp pain, absolutely. You need to stop what you're doing straight away and probably get seen if that pain continues. But any sort of a pop sound or an acute sharp pain, you need to be very concerned about that. It's probably something that you may have torn or something you've pulled. So yeah, it's more of a concern. Make sure you warm up before you get into heavy weights. So 5 minutes of just, it doesn't matter what you do, go for a walk, step up and downs, whatever you want to do, just so you get some blood flowing. And then if you're getting into big weights, you definitely need to do a warm up. If you're into tiny little weights, you're doing, some more, a circuit with lighter weights, then that will be okay normally for your warm up. Although if you've come in from the cold, if it's snowing outside, you will still want to warm up before you even get into that. You want to stretch tight muscles, so areas that you know are already sore and tight before your workout as well. So make sure you warm up first. Do a little stretch just on those muscles that are tight. You don't need to stretch all muscles, and then definitely after. So you really want to be stretching those tight muscles, because it could be a rainy day and I'm tight in my lower calves, in my soleus, and I go to run off to the car to get to the car before I get too wet, and I push off in the rain and the cold, and I've suddenly pulled an Achilles tendon because I've been tight. So you want to stretch out tight muscles. And to tell you the truth, most people are injured at home, so that's where they've already got a tight muscle. I had a lady the other day that pulled or tore a muscle in her abdominal area because she was weeding, of all things weeding, but it's because she would have already been tight. And I remember one morning going into my gym, and I just did a twist to turn on the computer, and I put my sacroiliac joint out of place, and I must have already been tight in my glutes, my bottom muscles and stuff before that to happen. And I for a moment couldn't stand up properly, and that's never happened before in my life, so I assume I was quite tight with that. So some people also have a fear of not achieving goals, and that can, so what I would say there is start from a bigger goal and then work backwards. So start from your bigger goal, 6 months, back to 3 months, back to 1 month, back to 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 1 week, days. So what can I do in the next day or two to get to my bigger goal? And don't make the big goal all about the main point. Make the journey on the way there, remembering back to where you started when you're 2, 3, 4 weeks in, when you're 2, 3, 4 months in, remembering back to the start when you first came in and maybe couldn't pick up even a 1 kilo weight was heavy, or a 2 kilo weight, and that you can pick up a 12 without any problem. So just remembering where you've come from. It's a journey that's really important as well. And I would say to people, even if you don't feel like doing a whole workout and you just could find 5 or 10 minutes, do 5 or 10 minutes, because that all adds up. So that 5 or 10 minutes that you do today will add up at the end of the week. You will maybe, if you do 10 minutes every day, it could be that you've done over an hour that week as compared to doing nothing at all because you're too busy. So, or, whatever it may be. So just think about doing things in small amounts of time, small time gaps. The fear of not achieving goals. So the thing is, as you're progressing along, are you getting less short of breath? That can be a huge bonus. And am I able to talk more as I'm doing the things? So less perceived rate of exertion. So if you can be talking more, not as out of breath, you're getting fitter. Are you lifting another kilo, 2 kilos more this week than what you did last week or the week before? You're progressing along. So look at the journey, look at where you've come from and where you're going to. So how do we make good decisions? How do we get to that place we want to be and not let our feelings take over? Well, it's all about taking one step at a time until they become a habit. Now, habits, the definition of a habit is a regular tendency or practice, especially one that is hard to give up. So as you make changes in your life every day, so you decide, you don't just go by feelings, but you decide, today I'm going to have a lovely healthy lunch. So this is what I've done. I've already gone to the shop at the start of the week and I've pre-planned and pre-packed my little lunch, and it's got all these lovely greens and things in there, lots of raw food, and maybe it's organic as well, perfect. And as you make more decisions like that, those decisions become habits. So as I decide myself to go and do a workout 2 to 3 times a week, that becomes a lifestyle change. So these habits all join together to become a total lifestyle change. So now I'm not going on feelings anymore. I'm operating by decisions. I'm operating by these decisions then becoming daily habits, and those daily habits becoming a total lifestyle change. So I just want to show you a little thing called Choice Point. And so what it is, I hope you can see that. So we have away and towards moves. So here we might have a difficult situation. So I'm having a hard situation here, and that can be, then I can look at my values. Now, some of the values, I'll just take that thing away for a minute and just look at my notes. So we all have values in our life. I'm just going to read out a few right now. So some can be acceptance, abundance. It can be generosity, fun. It can be health. It can be personal development. It can be spirituality, stability, success, teamwork, vision, warmth, wealth, well-being, whatever it may be. So you're going to have certain values that mean a lot to you. They mean a lot to you. So say, for example, if health and family mean a lot to you, I'm just going to hold this up here. Over here we have helpers. So those things that mean a lot to you and are important to you. And then over here I've got things like hooks. So hooks can be things that stop me from doing what I want to do. So say, for example, I want to go to the gym, but I'm afraid to go to the gym because I may not fit in. It may be my age. It may be that, I'm afraid that my age is I'm too old. So, so here we can be making decisions every day that take us where we want to go. So if you look here, this is away from where we want to be. This is towards where we want to be. So say if we got here, I'm just going to write down fitness. I want fitness and strength. So here I've just written fitness and strength. So that's what I want to be. I want to be fit and I want to be strong. So what am I doing every single day of my life to take me towards where I want to be? So am I every day going towards, so from here, towards where I want to be? So let's come back from here. So if we've got some difficult situations, am I going towards my goals, or am I going away from my goals? So what you can be doing in here, some of the towards things could be, so every day I actually do something. I may do 10 minutes, I may do half an hour. I may go to that class. I've decided here, I've made a decision here, and I'm going to that class, that strength training class, 3 to 4 times a week, or maybe 3 times a week. So great, so I'm on my way towards. Now there's never a clear path towards. That can weave in and out. It can go away moves, towards moves. But if every day, for example, I'm going, I was going to go today, but again, work has run late and I can't leave work that early. The kids need me to run them to sport. I'm feeling tired. I'm just tired. I'm going to go home for a snooze instead. Then that's away moves. So you can see that every day we can be heading towards our goal. If you put this goal here to be fit and strong up here, then we can be heading towards that goal with all the different decisions we make throughout the day, or we can be heading away from that. So it comes all down to those basic decisions we make every single day. And you can actually change those decisions if you so choose. So we can choose behaviors that lead us towards or take us away from that goal that we have. So if your goal is to get fitter and stronger, for example, then you may choose to away moves, for example, to do more important things instead. Those more important things can be to check my emails. Oh, darn, I've been there an hour and I was going to go to that class. Or you can stay at home and snooze. You can make excuses. We're too tired. Or it can just be, well, my family come first. But you know what? How better would it be if you put yourself up there as long with your family as well, so you can look after your family a whole lot better and have so much more energy. And particularly if you need to run around with young kids, how much better would it be if you looked after yourself, and then you're going to be so much stronger and fitter. And some of those towards ones can be that you already have your gym clothes in the car, so there's no excuse that I've got to head home first, I'm running out of time. Have your clothes in the car so you're all ready to go. It can just be a priority. Make it a priority in your life. Tell your whole family, I have made a commitment to myself to look after myself this year, and make it a priority, and don't let it stop being a priority. As I said before, commit some time to it, whether it's 10 minutes or whatever it is. If you can't resist chocolate like me, have some homemade chocolate in the fridge so that every day you can be going to that chocolate. I want to just talk a little bit about goals before I wind up. And so goals need to be smart. So you need to SMART. So you need to make your goal specific. What is your goal? Something specific. So it can be, I would like to be able to climb that hill behind me, my house, and I would like to be able to do it without getting short of breath, and I'd like to be able to do it in 10 minutes rather than the half an hour it's taking me at the moment. Whatever it may be, make it specific, not that I just want to get fitter. Make it specific, because your brain will start to come into line if you make it specific. Measurable. How will you define success? Okay, so you need to have it. You need to have some way to measure that. Like I just said then, I've just made it a measurable thing by saying I want to get up that hill in 10 minutes rather than the half an hour it's taking me at the moment. So that can be a measurable thing. Maybe as the weeks go by, you've reduced that hill climbing behind you to get to that little, there could be tables and chairs on top of the hill, and it's taking you half an hour, and the next week it might take you 28 minutes, and next week 25 minutes, and you go on and on and on. So you know that that is a measurable goal. You've got some way to measure it each week. Achievable. Is it practical? Yeah. So climbing a hill is practical. Maybe if you want to be an Olympic pole vault person and you're 5'2" tall and you're not athletic at all, that may not be an achievable goal. But certainly for most of us, we can find an achievable goal that sits well with us, and we know that we could do it if we got fitter or stronger. Relevant. So why are you doing it? So is it a goal that, will be something that will mean something to you? I think for most people that I see come in my door, strength training is huge, because if you get on a plane and can't put your overnight bag into the overhead locker, then it means other people have to do it for you. And it's not that much fun, particularly if you're only in your 50s, which some people are when they get to that point. So for you to get stronger is going to be a very relevant thing, particularly if you do lots of plane flights. And time bound, when will it be achieved? So again, putting a time limit on that. And that's where I think it's great to take that eventual goal, maybe a goal you achieve in a year's time, but that big goal, why not make it a big, huge goal? Big, huge goal. My goal, I had a goal to get my online fitness program up and running. It's been a 15-year goal actually, but because I had family to raise, I was a nurse at the time and so much going on, that took priority over that goal, although I've worked slowly, little bits towards it. Well, guess what? This last week, I have launched my online fitness program in an affordable manner. So it was something I wanted to do. I wanted a strength training program that was affordable, that used minimal equipment, some basic equipment that people could buy from down the road. And I've achieved that. So that's my big 15-year goal. You might have something that big, but say you've got a goal in a year's time to be able to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. No, I reckon that's a good one. Maybe a local mountain, say, a local mountain in Europe. So say, for example, if you live in Hobart, Mount Wellington or Mount Kunyani. I can never say that quite right. But anyway, so in a year, let's take that one. It's probably a better example. In a year's time, I want to climb my local mountain. So where will you be with that goal then if we take it down to 6 months? Where do you think you're training? Where do you think you could be in 6 months? Maybe you can climb part of the mountain, come back down again. So park your car at the base of the mountain, walk part of the mountain, come back down again. Yay, goal achieved. That could be your 6-month goal. Maybe a 3-month goal, break it down again. Let's go 2/3 of the way up the mountain and down again. And then let's get to the very short term. As I said before, a 1-month plan. What can you plan this week? What can you plan this week to help that whole thing come about? And what can we plan in the next day? So you know what? We can be taking it day by day. So I can break that goal from a year's goal, this is what I want to achieve, but then break it down into small bite-sized chunks that you can take one little step, achieve that one little step, achieve that one little step. And before you know it, you have climbed the mountain. And that's what life is all about. It's about taking those goals you want to achieve and actually doing something about it. Too many of us wait till our deathbed. And guess what? When you're on your deathbed, it's too late to do it. You're never going to talk about the house you kept clean. You're never going to talk about, I was so proud of that lounge room. I kept all the stuff up off the floor and I kept it clean all the time. No, it will be about family, but it would also be for some of you, a regret that you never achieved that goal that you had way back when you could still do it. So if you're able to do something today, start making goals, make lofty goals, make them big, make them bold, make them that you may be a little bit scared because you don't think you could achieve it. But that's a great goal, because even if you get partway there, you've come a lot further than what you would ever have done had you not made that goal. So I quite like the idea of a goal. I have goals that are a little way down the track and ones that I can achieve a bit closer. My goal right now, because I'm a chocoholic, I love chocolate, but I'm trying to stay away from chocolate. So my goal is every week in my fridge, I will have a chocolate lookalike. Almost tastes like, doesn't quite taste like chocolate, but it's close. With raw cacao, organic cacao, and I've got coconut oil and dates and nuts and all sorts of seeds in there, all put together where I can slice it up and eat it. And if I feel like chocolate, that's my go-to instead of going to the shop and buying chocolate. Sometimes I can't resist. I'm already at the shop and I feel hungry and I haven't had dinner yet, and I will succumb. But what I've tried to do then is just buy one little chocolate bar, not a whole cake. Every now and then I'll succumb to that too. I'm only human. But if you can, have stuff so you can be planned and prepared. And if you can make a decision this week, that would be great. Please tell me, give me feedback. If you decide that this really touched a note with you and you want to make changes in your life, I'd love to hear back on the feedback after if you're not on here live. Please let me know, because I can support you in that. If you can find somebody to support you, you're far more likely to achieve your goal. And in fact, the same here. And so if you don't have anyone that you've got to surround you, to keep an eye on you and say how you're going with that goal, I'm happy to do it. So if you want to leave a little comment down there, I'm more than happy to keep you on track if that's what you'd like to do. And so I think we've, we can all support one another. So it's a good thing. So if you've got a goal, put it in the comments below, and I'd love to support you. We can all support one another, and you might find somebody on there that has just that same goal that you had, and guess what? You can support one another. So that's a good thing. And I guess one last thing to finish off with is just, I've done an ACT course, so it's an acceptance and commitment therapy course. And here we've just got a little thing. I might just pop my little board behind it, so hopefully there you can see that okay. And it's a little circle here. So in the circle here is what's really important to us. So our goals and values, that's where we've made that goal. That's where we've said, this is really important to me. I want to get stronger and fitter because I want to run around with my grandkids. I don't want to be sitting on the bench and not able to do it. So here is our goals and values, and we've got 4 main areas here. So up here is our personal growth and health, and that might include life skills, nutrition, fitness, just nurturing ourselves, growing in something, a course that we might have wanted to do for a while. That may go in that area. And then over here, relationships. So that might include your children, your partner, your grandchildren, friends, relatives, co-workers, etc. And then coming down the bottom, So our spare time, our leisure time, how do we play, relax? How do we just take stress out of our lives? How do we have fun, creativity, recreation, all those things? And then over here, work and education might include that course you've always wanted to do. Heading up the ladder in your workplace, education, skills development. And what I want you to do is look at this circle here and work out for each one of these 4 things, how far away are you from the middle? So if health and fitness, for example, is something you'd hugely like to do, where are you at the moment? So this is a bullseye. This is where you want to be. This is where you've achieved it. Are you sitting right out on the outer line? Are you on that outer line for fitness and health? And you kind of think to yourself, I so don't want to be here anymore. And you realize that you're way out of whack with your balance in your life and you need to get more in here. Then put a little cross, make yourself a circle at home and put a little cross where you think you are right now. And then coming back over to relationships. Have you feel like you've got most of those in check and they're going well and everything's swimmingly wonderful? Then you might be in here, but if not, you're going to be on one of these outer lines. So see how far away you are from where you want to be, which is in here. And then going back down to leisure, do you have time for yourself? If you feel like you've got total that under control, you'll be in here and then back down to here. So you'll find that this circle, you'll have some parts of your life that are way out of whack and not where you want to be. So that's a great wake-up call for you to go, oh, okay, I really need to be working on that area. I really need to be putting some input into that. So, for example, if your relationships, you come home, you would like to get married again or just have some good friends, but you're coming home from work every day and going straight to bed or maybe just staying inside and not going out and not joining social groups, you could be way out as far as you can be. So then you want to take some steps to get that bit closer in so you feel like your life is more balanced in all ways. You want to aim for all of these more in towards that inner circle. So I hope that's inspired you a bit today. If you've been thinking of something for a while, go out and do it. It doesn't matter what it is. It's what's important to you. Don't go by feelings because feelings are fickle. They will be there all the time and they won't help us. So just make a push, shove yourself forward, give yourself a push and take yourself in the right direction where you want to be. And I hope you've enjoyed that and I've hoped it's helped you to some degree. So if you want to look at more, we always put these on spicefitness.com so you can get on there. And if you think that today's a day where you'd like an affordable program for about $19.95 Australian per month, we have now launched. We're out there doing our online fitness, and some of you will opt to get a band, a resistance band, some a Fitball, and then the weight can be a milk carton, but that's all you need. You don't need anything more than that. We send through 3 workouts a week with mindset. We do all sorts of stuff, and it's, as I said, for the price of $19.95 a month Australian dollars. And so we would love to see you on there. So if you feel that that's something today has inspired you to get fitter and stronger, well, we have a good time on there working with real clients just like you, and hope to see you on there hopefully soon. And yeah, so spicefitness.com that is. Okay, see you there soon. Bye. That it? I did already say spicefitness.com.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, before that.
Oh, I didn't
So we're Sheree from spicefitness.com. We put all these, we upload them onto there. So yeah, when you put that, I'm thinking, oh, I've already said that, but anyway, it's good to say it again. Yeah. I think that went okay.
Went really well. We had virtually
nobody.
One person didn't like, but it was so I'm not going to write like the 17 letters down for their name so that you have to read it and go, hi, what a wonderful
It's a bit hard, isn't it? What do you do with that?
Stressed you out.
Oh, hi, well, that would have looked really dumb. So no, that's fine.